Good evening. I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is a meeting of the City of Gloucester Licensing Board. Today is Monday, August 19th, 2024. The time is 6:32 p.m. We are meeting here in person at the Gloucester Harbor Master's office, located at 19 Harbor Loop, Gloucester, Mass. Effective August 16th, 2023, the public is welcome to attend our meetings in person. Alternatively, the public may attend through the Zoom link listed on the agenda. Meeting notice will reflect if the meeting is Zoom only. As the recent amendments to the open meeting law allows, the licensing board may continue to hold meetings remotely. Please note the in-person meeting will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the remote connection. Our meeting will continue. So I will start with introductions and we'll start on this side.
John Lemron, board member.
Melissa Texera Prince, board member.
Rob McCarry, building commissioner.
Allison Battle, clerk.
Thank you very much. This meeting is being held tonight because we were unable to hold our regularly scheduled meeting last Tuesday. So the agenda is the same that was published for that date. We will start. Our first order of business is common victular license renewals. We do not have to take these individually. And the establishments are not required to be here for this renewal. You want to make a motion?
Sure. I motion to approve the common victular license for following: Gloucester Breakfast Inc., doing business at Two Sisters Coffee Shop, 27 Washington Street. Virgilio's Italian Bakery and Grocery LLC at 29 Main Street. AAA Business Group Inc., doing business as Subway Restaurant at 25 Railroad Ave. Cake Ann LLC at 63 Barger Street. And BMS Restaurant LLC, doing business as King's Famous Roast Beef Pizza and Seafood at 218 Main Street.
I'll second that motion. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the vote carries. Those licenses shall issue. Next order of business is extension of entertainment. Teddy Spiegel, general manager of Harbor 9 Golf, is requesting to add karaoke and trivia to their existing entertainment license at 1 Gloucester Crossing, Building C, Unit 355. Is Ted Spiegel here? Is Ted Spiegel on Zoom?
No.
Okay. I will just, we'll just table this matter and see maybe, someone will appear before the meeting's over. So next order of business is special one-day liquor licenses. Petition of Farrell Wenner, I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Requesting to serve wine and malt beverages only during their annual music festival on September 21st, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Lanesville Community Center located on 8 Vulcan Street. Good evening.
Good evening,
Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Farrell Weiner, and it's 1131 Washington Street, Gloucester, Massachusetts, 01930.
Thank you.
Actually, that's my actual official address, but there's building work going on at the moment, so we're in temporary digs.
Okay.
Do you want the temporary address?
You can add that to the record if you like, if you know it.
334.
Go ahead if you need to.
They ask you what it's 334.
If you don't know it, that's okay.
Folly Cove Road.
Folly Cove Road.
You're only gonna be there for another month.
We're only going to be there for another month.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all right. We'll find you. Okay, so I know this is an annual event. We've been approving it for many years, but why don't you give us just a little bit of history or, tell us why you're having this event and what it entails.
Yeah, the event is in order to showcase various bands and musicians who from the neighborhood, from the Lanesville area, and some of them are from further far, but they're mainly Lanesville people.
Mhm.
And it's a major event in the community where we have about 300 to 400 people sometimes show up, all in all. And and people just, they just meet, they socialize. A lot of kids there, and parents are there, and there's plenty of activity for kids as well. We have food by various food vendors who come, and we supply the liquor. We just basically run the day.
Mhm.
It's usually very successful. We missed it out last year because of bad weather.
Right,
The year before last, we had a highly successful one. It was the first one since COVID,
and I noticed this year you put a rain date on there too, which is
Is it?
good.
which is a Sunday.
Yeah, so if you don't have it Saturday, it'll be Sunday. Now, are you doing the barriers the same as last time you
Same
held
thing.
the
Same thing.
function?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
same bartender we've had for all the years.
You're putting up I think it was the orange fencing,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
because you're anticipating up to 300 people, you said?
coming in and coming out, coming
Right,
in.
throughout the day,
Yeah, there might even be more,
okay,
but it's usually around that. Entrance is basically free, but we usually like to receive a donation.
right,
Uh, Yep, and we've had no problems with it, thank heaven. Now the years or so, I think is the 12th. This is the 12th music festival we're having.
and I see you have your liquor liability insurance.
Yeah.
Signed off by all the departments of Gloucester in July. So see, everything's current, the tips are certified, are current. Do you have any questions, John?
No, I don't.
And we have your, the information that shows that you are a nonprofit
Yes,
on file too.
Yeah.
So we have everything we need. Your business, this event has been very successful in the past. So no issues, no complaints from neighbors,
fine.
no complaints from neighbors in the past. We haven't heard anything on this board, but I didn't hear anything directly.
All the neighbors are there.
Good answer. Okay,
Well, used to them.
do you want to make a motion?
I motion to approve a one-day license for the petition of Farrell Leonard, did I get that right? Requesting to serve wine and malt beverages only during their annual music festival on 9/21/2024 from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Lanesville Community Center, 8 Vulcan Street, with a rain date of 9/22 with the same times.
I'll second that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that license will issue. So you have to turn in receipts from the sale of alcohol to Allison within so many days.
Yeah.
She's discussed that with you?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for us?
No,
Do you have a question?
Does that cover a kombucha?
No,
It doesn't.
kombucha is not,
It's not
it's not an alcohol.
Well, there is alcoholic kombucha.
Well, if it is, it's not being sold in the grocery stores, but if you're selling it as a malt, if it qualifies as a malt, then yes, you would have to.
Okay.
If you're getting a brand that advertises that there's alcohol in it, as opposed to it just fermenting like some of them do, you would need to receipt that.
Okay,
As
but
well.
it could be included under the malt.
I would have to look into that. I don't know if it's a malt. I have to look at the general law that defines it. I'm not that familiar with current kombucha practice. But we can
Madam Chair.
look into it, find out.
The state, last month, the state just pulled them from all of their stores, so the only place you can buy them now is at other stores.
You can't buy it in the grocery store anymore, it's on shop.
That,
Not with alcohol.
not for the alcohol.
Oh, the ones that have alcohol, so the ones that
No,
are
they're not
infused and some that aren't, I think. It's like the iced tea,
I'm
right?
sorry, I'm sorry.
It's okay. We'll find out if there's an issue,
okay,
but if you're getting it from the distributor, I would assume that there's alcohol in it, and yes, you need to receive that,
Okay. That's
okay?
no problem with that.
so it means that it's not covered by a licensing, is that right?
It's considered.
If it has
Checking to see if
alcohol
it
in
is.
it, it would be covered by your license.
would be covered, oh.
Well, I gotta actually find out if it's considered a malt
Sort of.
or wine, I have to believe that it would be, but I don't
Maybe
know.
the same as the hard cider.
Right, in the iced tea that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, So, I'm not sure, and we'll let you know if there's a reason why you can't serve it, we'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you.
But like I said, receipt it if you're getting it, anything you get from the distributor, I would have on your receipt that you turn into us,
Okay.
the sales receipt.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
good luck.
Thank you.
Hope you have a very successful event.
Thank you very much.
Next order of business is petition of Kimberly Trainer requesting malt beverages only during the charity cycling event on September seventh, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 24 Heath Ave.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Welcome back. You are another regular here.
Yes.
You will, tell us, about your event this year.
Do you want my name and address or?
Oh, yeah, that first. I'm sorry.
Kim Trainer, Kimberly Trainer, 3 Lieutenant Litchfield Way, it's LT Litchfield Way in Burlington, Mass. 01803.
Thank you. And tell us about your charity bike ride.
It's our 13th annual event at Stage 4
It's been
Park.
13.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And we've moved locations in front instead of the gazebo, we're down the hill a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think there's a wedding going on at either 4 or 5 o'clock above, so we moved down below. Which is fine, which will, I think will work out fine anyway, so it's good. We have our same thing, we're gonna do the barricades and the use the one side of the tent right behind the bar is the closed in area. Probably have hopefully like 125, 150 people.
Okay.
The routes, the cyclists will leave at 7, 8, or 9 o'clock in the morning and then come back. And when they come back, there's gonna be a food truck there, and then we have a beer donation. And we don't charge for the beer, it's just something that's part of the event.
Okay. There's a regulation on that as well, though. Of not charging. I think you have to show you have to show us the donation, the form that says it was a donation.
Yeah, yeah, and I have that from Boston Beer.
That's it.
It is, it's under. One thing I did notice is on your, and I could have missed it, this is why I rely on John, the liquor license. Allison Battle is our clerk, she handles all the paperwork.
Okay. I will do that.
So you're having it down at the bottom, kind of near where the cupboard was, where you had it, I think, the last couple of years on the flat part.
Yeah,
Before
yeah,
you
this
go
is
up
the-
the hill, right
Yeah.
on the street.
yeah, that's the first year that we're having it down there. We usually have it up by the gazebo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought I saw it there before. Maybe it was another function.
Yeah, because I guess this is one of the areas that, once we found out that we couldn't do it on top, this
Yeah.
is one of the ones that Mark Cole suggested was down below.
Okay.
And it's fine too, because it's all flat and we have a tent going up, and so it's gonna work with a dirt path and things like that.
And who's gonna be watching to make sure no one leaves with alcohol?
I'm tip certified, and there's 2 other people that are tip certified as
Okay.
well.
I know it's not a large space, so we would be able to. cover
Yeah, it's gonna be
that.
closed off so that anybody coming and going in that area will be, this will be standing there.
Mhm. Is there usually a police presence down there, do you know?
That's what I was gonna ask, because in the past, we've done that.
Yeah.
And requested it for 6:30 in the morning,
Mhm.
but no one has showed up.
Okay.
So I was wondering, like, I'm gonna request it again, but should I request it for the whole day, or should I just request it for?
So you're not, I thought the the fun part of it is that after the race, correct?
Yeah.
The race starts early in the morning, right? 'Cause I think you drive by my, just go by my house on it.
Okay.
But, so it's not until later, like around 1 or 2, right?
Or like maybe around to like 10:30, 11. You know, when
Oh, so
people
it's a
start
little
coming back.
early, okay.
Yeah, and I think in the past, what I've heard is that they've had them in the beginning, like as a kind of like a send off.
Yeah,
So then, we, we requested that and then, nobody showed up. And so
Okay.
that, cause I think it was early, like 6:30, like, nobody wanted to. So later on,
Right.
somebody did, but then we're like, okay, we heard that there was an intersection, like Essex Gloucester, that, people needed some, guidance to which way to go. So we're like, okay, when somebody did show up, they're like, okay, why don't you go there because no one's needed here right now.
Right.
So that I can request one for, it makes more sense for the time of the event than, for anything else, so.
I mean, I wouldn't wanna say that, I know I'm not, maybe John feels differently. I mean, sometimes we require police details. I wouldn't say that this event, just knowing how it's operated in the past, would require a police detail, which would be expensive.
Right.
But the police sign off on this, request, so they're aware of it, and I'm sure there could be a little bit of traffic concern, so I would imagine that there'll be a presence at some point, somewhere. I mean, even the Center car drives around that area, so, I'm not making it a requirement, but if you wanna reach out to the police department and say, hey, it might be helpful for you to ride by, stop by, say hi,
Yeah,
and, see what they say.
Okay.
I know it's with summer, they've been short-staffed a lot too, so I don't know, even if you require the detail, if you'd even be able to get one, I'm not sure how that would work.
Okay,
But I would work with the police department,
I'll mention it and just say.
to see what they say,
Yeah.
what they
okay.
feel.
Yeah, cause it does come back into Gloucester, but like, as you know, like if you leave, it goes towards Manchester.
Right.
So it just basically kind of skims, it's like Eastern Ave on the
Yeah.
way back. So it's not, too far, but like we're not riding towards roads in Gloucester too
Right.
much,
And
yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a rowdy crowd, at least it
No.
hasn't been.
No.
Don't get rowdy on me this year.
No, but right before I left tonight, I guess there's another event going on for American Legion. Do you know anything about that?
The same day?
Yes.
So, not with alcohol, that they would come
No,
to
no,
us.
I guess they're just riding, so it's not really having to do with the
Oh,
You mean on
licensing.
bikes or something?
I think motorcycles maybe.
Oh, was it the Nelson ride?
It's American Legion something and
Nelson ride. is the end
so they're
of
just trying to
August.
coordinate with us on the routes that we're going on, but this is the first I heard about it. I guess they're gonna go around, the American Legion Riders are having a big veterans fundraiser that same day, which includes the motorcycle ride around Cape Ann and then back to Manchester.
Yeah, so you might bump into each other.
Yeah, so I just need to coordinate with them because
They're bigger.
Yeah, and I don't want, I don't know what their route, I think they want us
Yeah.
to share routes with them, so I didn't know if you were
Yeah.
aware of anything about that.
We're not, because
Yeah, because we
we only
license it.
hear of it if there's alcohol.
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
the city's aware of it, there's an events, subcommittee, they probably discussed it.
Yeah, okay.
And the police have signed off on their. to
Yeah,
that.
that's what they said,
Yeah,
please.
So no, I don't know about it,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be a busy day on the road.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a good day as far as weather-wise, so.
I know, do you have a rain date?
No,
You don't want a rain date?
no, I think it's too much, I think, to coordinate, to have, to say to everybody, the tent and the vendors and everything else to coordinate a rain date.
They
so-
still ride in the rain anyways, right?
Yeah, we'll still ride in the rain, unless it's like something that's, hurricane or something like that, but otherwise.
I know,
it's still
right,
right.
yeah,
I know,
but you might need that tent that day.
yeah, that's the thing, we never used to have the tent, so we added that in the last couple of years, and it's been great having the tent there, especially when it's really sunny too.
Right,
It's
yes.
yeah.
Okay. I don't have any more questions. Do you? Want to make a motion?
I motion to approve a special one-day liquor license petition of Kimberly Trainer requesting the malt beverage only during their charity cycling event on 9/7/2024, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 24 Youth Ave. So,
I'm just gonna add,
Oh.
subject to,
yep, subject to.
amending your liquor liability insurance to, reflect that you have that coverage.
Yeah.
Okay, second, any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, the vote carries. So I meant to tell him, so when you get the license, after you submit the information to Allison, just make sure it's up, posted on the tent somewhere,
Yeah.
wherever the liquor is, so that if anybody riding by, they see that you have the license for the day to have alcohol on the premises.
Okay, yeah, usually we put it right behind the bar. on the-
Anywhere,
on the
yeah,
tent.
somewhere
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
can see it. Do you have any questions for us?
No.
No? Well, thank you.
All
Good
right.
luck.
Thank
Forward
you.
to a busy day. Go out
Yes.
on- That's not the Schooner Festival, too, is it?
No, it's
No, that's
like
The
a
week before,
weekend
right, the 30th?
Yeah.
It's early this year.
Yeah. Okay, next order of business. Do we have anyone on Zoom?
Just developing. Developing.
Okay. Yep. Next order of business is petition of Nicholas Casso requesting to serve wine and malt beverages only during Oktoberfest, put on by the Magnolia Library on 10/13 from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on 1 Lexington Ave. Hello, name and address for the record, please.
Yes, so Nick Casso, 283R Derby Street, Salem, 01970.
Thank you for joining us.
Sure, thank you for taking the time. So this is the annual Magtoberfest event. We've done this several years running. This is the third year that I've been part of it. I know we've done years
5 or
prior.
6, yeah.
And yeah, so Lexington Ave is usually blocked off. We're kind of the anchor, where the beer garden is set up. And we have a whole area that is barricaded off. So there's large metal barriers, someone checking IDs so no one can go in or out. There's only one way in, one way out. So it would be really difficult for anyone to walk off with alcohol.
Is this at the front of the street still, like the very beginning of the street? near
Yes,
the
right
library?
next to the
You have
library.
that, that area fenced in.
Pretty much caged in.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so the van that we have basically creates the end barrier, so it's really difficult for anybody to try and get around. And IDs are checked, all of our staff are tip certified. I've done hundreds of these events over the last few years, so I know all the things to look out for. As far as I know, we've never had any issues. No one has ever been overserved or anything like that. So we expect another smooth event again this year.
Okay. I see you have the alcohol liability. How much staff do you plan on having?
So we've typically run it
2 or
with
3, I
2
think.
bartenders and Kylie Davis, who works to help organize this event. She and her staff will usually provide host services at the gate, checking IDs and everything. So they've been really good about providing staff as extra eyes as well. So the last few years, we've been able to run it with 2 staff pouring, again, both tip certified.
Don't you usually have the bubbles one too?
They're usually on the other end.
We haven't heard from them this year.
So
Yeah.
we signed the liquor license, we signed the 1-day paperwork today. She'll probably be on the next.
Oh, because it's October, so we have
It's
time.
October.
Okay,
I was just trying to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
She was literally in this morning.
Okay.
To have it signed, so.
you can't
just
tell I
trying to-
attend that event, that goes down the street, I'm like, you gotta have the bubbles.
Right.
No, they're great. They
Yeah,
always do a great job. We do a few events with them throughout the year, so we see them
Yeah,
quite a bit.
okay. And no rain or shine?
Yeah, it's a Sunday for this event, so typically I don't think they do a rain date. Just 'cause I think with the amount of vendors and everything, it'd be difficult to try and run it back a second time.
Right. Okay. Do you have any questions?
Motion to approve the petition for 1-day liquor license to Nicholas Casso, requesting to serve wine and malt beverages only during Oktoberfest, put on by the Magnolia Library on 10/13/2024 from 11 a.m. to 6 at 1 Lexington Ave. So
I second that motion. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, the vote carries. So as you know, you have to keep track of your receipts and turn them in to Allison within 10 days, 10 days?
So a quick question with that, since we are the distributor, we
Right.
make all of our own
Yeah.
stuff. Do we still need to submit that since we're
Yeah,
not getting it
sales.
from? Okay,
So it's sales, right? So it's illegal to give free alcohol in
Right, of
Massachusetts,
course.
right? So that's our way of knowing that you're tracking sales
okay,
of your drinks,
Okay.
regardless of who pays for the drink.
sure,
But you can't give alcohol away, so that shows that each drink has been recorded.
got it.
And
I'm
then
just-
we keep that on file, and then if you don't comply with that, the next time you come before us, we say, wait a minute, what happened, right? So,
Perfect. I'm just clarifying, because every town's a little bit different with what they require before and after. the- so
yeah,
I
we
just wanna-
we got a little, we've tightened up our regulations over the past year or two, just to avoid
problem.
issues that were going and just make sure that
Yep.
we're aware of what's going on. I mean, we're familiar with your event and who you are, because you're here, you have a presence in Gloucester. But just making sure that we all know what was discussed and, what's being sold and distributed and brought in, because you need a license even to transfer alcohol, even if you're not selling it, right?
Right.
So, it's just our way of tracking.
Not a problem at all, just wanted to clarify.
Do you have any other questions for us?
No.
All
I
right,
appreciate
so
it.
you get your license from Allison, and like I said, just post it somewhere so that it's visible to the public.
Not a problem at all.
All right, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Have a good night.
day. You too.
Do we have anyone from Harbor 9 Golf? They don't have an attorney? All right, next order of business is the approval of minutes of July 9th, 2024. I read them and I'm gonna ask Allison, I think there's 2 typos. So do you have them up so that you can see?
I do not.
Okay. Can you? There is a pages X are not numbered, so,
Follow yours.
no, I know.
Oh.
It's, oh, I see what you're saying, yeah, 1, 2. And there could be more, but this is just that stuck out to me, but. Let me just it.
So we don't know.
It's where it said Zoom Park is the husband, and I believe his name is Sam Park, right here. So it was under the discussion with the new BYOB license. And there's a sentence that says Zoom Park is Miss Kim's husband's company. I just want to make sure that Zoom Park is correct. Is that the name of the business?
Yeah,
It is a name,
I have to double check.
because we were talking about Gangham.
Yes, and then she said her husband's name of her company, his company was different than Gangy.
Okay, so that might not be a typo. I don't remember hearing that or responding to that. And then one of them was just a misspelling of a word that I can find and show you after. It's like AIR, it should have been AIR and it was ARI or something. Is Suzanne Egan online yet?
No.
Right here. So under.
I-
discuss-
Excuse me, I am online.
Hi Suzanne, okay, good.
Hi, how you doing?
Kind of waiting to make sure you were here because we're gonna discuss the license next.
I'm here.
Whether to take my time or not. Okay, so under, there's a sentence that says the chair would like to discuss the process and come up with some criteria. The word chair is just spelled CHARI, it should be CHAIR. That's all I found. So other than that, I move that we approve the minutes of July 9th, subject to those 2 adjustments. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, vote carries. Okay, and finally, discussion regarding annual all alcohol license availability. As you know, we have 1 license available and we are in a working process of, releasing that license to an establishment or an applicant. We did come up with a process last time we met and then received some legal guidance from Suzanne Egan, who is online going to join us. And we have effectively pulled back what we were gonna attempt to do and changed up the process a little bit. So we're just gonna get that clarified today with the help of Suzanne. So Suzanne, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. Suzanne Egan, General Counsel for the City of Gloucester. And I am happy to discuss the process with you. I don't know if you want me to just to start off and sort of give some background on the process of letting the public know and how the board evaluates license applications that come before it.
I think that would be very helpful.
Okay.
You know that Ted Coster is not with us tonight, but he'll be able to go back and replay the Zoom, if he has questions, so it'll be really helpful to do that.
Okay, so as you know, that when an applicant submits a license, each license has to be reviewed by the board within the certain time frame, within 30 days. The notice has to be published that the license has been, or the application has been filed, and then the board has to consider that license application within that set time period. And it has to consider each application on its own merits, on the record that is before the board, which is obtained from the application and through the public hearing process. The board then reviews each application on the basis of the hearing, the record, and then using the criteria that's set out in the statute in the cases. And the case that I think that you're most familiar with is the Ballerin case. That's sort of the case that we all look to when looking at what is the appropriate criteria for the board when it goes to consider an application. And because of that statutory and regulatory framework, it's important for the board to keep that in mind when you have one license available. It has to be, any application that comes in, you have to consider on its merits and on the basis of the statute. We don't have the ability as a local licensing authority to create different criteria and to limit the availability of that license on criteria that we may, as a local licensing authority, feel that is appropriate. Everybody's bound by statute as we're, regulatory authorities. And so you have to stick just with that statutory authority. So I've been familiar with this process in other communities. And typically when there's one license available, I know that board wants to advertise to let people know, which I think is a good idea. And then once those applications come in for this license, then you just start the process of reviewing the applications on the basis of the statutory criteria.
Okay.
And take each one as it comes in, you put it on an agenda, you hold a public hearing, you consider it on the record before it, based on the application, any testimony you hear. If there's anybody who's either in favor or opposed, you listen to that, and then you apply that statutory criteria to it.
Okay. Anything else?
Oh,
Before I
and
ask-
then I think the other thing that you and I had talked about, Melissa, was the fact that the board has the ability to have the public hearing, listen to all the evidence and consider the application, close the public hearing, and then go through the deliberative process either that night or at another meeting. So that application, that consideration of the application can be continued to a date certain and noted on your agenda and then discussed at another meeting.
Okay. Actually, before I have any questions, I'm just gonna ask John if he has any questions first.
No, just here. Absolutely.
Huh?
I'm just here to absorb.
Okay. Give John a copy of the cases for him to get more familiar with. You should be familiar with at least one.
I am.
So I want to put this out and get feedback from you of what I'm hoping to accomplish tonight as far as a timeline. So I was hoping, our process is gonna be that we want to put in a public hearing notice accepting applications, letting the public know that there is a available license and that we're gonna accept licenses during a certain time. And then, once we receive those that time period, which will be about a week, applicants that come in will go forward with a public hearing around the same time or at the same time as our next scheduled meeting. So this is my timeline, was to hopefully get a legal notice in the newspaper this Friday, working with Allison. Accept applications from September 9th through the 13th. That gives us about a little bit less than 2 weeks to get the applications together, because it could be a lot of applicants. I think we had 6 or 7 last time. But to get those public hearing notices ready and then have them posted, but no later than September 16th in the newspaper for each individual application. Hold a hearing on Monday, October 7th, hold those public hearings, and then make the decision on October 8th, which is our regularly scheduled meeting. Does that sound appropriate in your opinion?
Yes, it does. I believe that meets everything. What's the first, so you're gonna publish
This Friday,
on Friday, except between the 9th and the 13th, is that right?
between the 9th and the 13th, which is the second week in September.
Yep, and then publish
Yep.
it.
At least 10 days, a little bit more notice of the days that we're accepting the applications.
So then,
So-
go ahead. Sorry.
13, and then by the 26th or the 27th, which is about 2 weeks later, put those public hearings, notices in the newspaper for the applicants that apply.
Right, and you just have to, the only thing I would say, and that sounds good, and that sounds actually like you're giving yourself less time than you potentially have under the statute, right? Because you have to publish, and I believe I'm right on this, publish notice 10 days of receipt of it. So if you get something in on the 20th, you still have those 10 days to notice. But if you want to notice it all by the 26th, that's fine.
Right.
But at least you know you have time. And then in terms of holding your public hearing, that's fine. Also, you just to be aware that if you get to a point where you have 6 applications and you can't have all those public hearings on one night, you can always open and continue to the next time, because you want to make sure that you have ample opportunity to consider each application on their merits. So
Right.
I think that schedule works. Absolutely.
Okay, I was more concerned giving Allison time to get all the packets together. Because through the system that we use, we don't, it appears that we're not accepting applications that aren't complete. So it's not like we even have to use that as it for a reason that we're not approving, right? Because applications that come before us are complete or they don't go on our agenda. Do you see an issue with that?
No, no, as long as the application is complete. No, I agree with you, right? You have criteria that says you have to meet this checklist, right? Submit all these documents in order to have a complete application. And then you
Yeah.
can submit. If you can't submit, if it's not complete, I agree with that completely.
Okay. All right, so that's the plan. So I was gonna put that forward as a vote tonight for John and I to consider. Is there anything else, any more guidance you can provide to us or anything you want to let us know before we put this process in action?
No, I think this is a good process. I think it'll serve the applicants well by providing notice, right, in the paper. And then also you're really moving in a timely fashion. So I think that's going to be really helpful.
Yeah, like I said, I think the goal, part of my consideration for this was we start renewing all our licenses in October, November, December. That timeframe, all the annual licenses go up for review. So I was trying to get this matter settled before we dive into annual renewals.
Right, and that makes sense.
So just trying to facilitate some sort of continuity and less stress for our clerk during a very, very busy time of the year for all of us. So, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So I don't know that we need to discuss anything else because Suzanne Egan was very helpful and let us, I know about the Ballerin test with the Woburn, City of Woburn, Peter Donovan case as well. Give some language. We do have a licensing board, alcohol rules and regulations, which talks a little bit about license ownership in there. These licenses, these regulations have been in place for about 6 months now. And the city of Gloucester should be familiar with them by now. And I believe they're on our website, right? Are they easily available for any applicant who wants to read them? So with that being said, I am gonna put forward a motion for our process to distribute this annual liquor license to be that we will advertise in the Gloucester Daily Times on August 23rd, that we will be accepting that we have a license available and that we are accepting applications for that license between the time period of September 9th through September 13th during business hours. Does the system allow us to take things after business hours? In other words, on Friday
Well, it
at
doesn't
10
go in this
PM?
system, no.
Oh,
They're-
they have to
had
come in.
Yes,
Okay,
and
So they
it has
apply-
to be when I'm there too, so it's actually should be during public hours.
so you have to be there. So it's gonna be during business hours, which start at 9 AM.
That would
on-
be clerk public hours, because sometimes I'm not there. So it's 8:30 to 10:30, 2:30 to 3:30, unless I happen to be there.
So, all right, hold on. So your workday on Monday is what, 8:30 to
4.
4? So there's somebody there to accept.
They
someone
can't,
comes
no,
in.
there's no one else that can accept these.
No one else takes them by her. She's the only one that accepts them. We don't, the other girls, I can't allow them to accept these because of some of the paperwork that's in it and the fact that she's the only one that knows if everything's there or not. So we've set up, she has public hour from 8:30 to 10:30, Monday through Friday. And then 2:30 to 3:30, Monday through Thursday.
So only 2 hours a day to accept
It's 3 hours a day.
applications?
I mean, so often I'm happen to be there, and if I'm there, obviously I take them. But those are the days where they know I'll be there.
And Friday is, all right, so it's 8:30 to 10:30, what days?
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. But you're not there 2:30 to 3:30 on Friday,
Right, we're only there till
so Monday
12:30.
through Thursday.
Monday through
Okay.
Thursday is 2:30 to 3:30.
So no later hours, even though you're open later?
Right.
Cause aren't you open till like 7 or something?
Not to 6:30 on Thursdays.
But often I leave at 5 for licensing.
Because she's got.
Other meetings and
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. Okay. All right, so part of this motion is that we are accepting applications from September 9th through the 13th, Monday through Friday, hours 8:30 to 10:30 AM. And then Monday through Thursday, 2:30 PM to 3:30 PM. In other words, no afternoon on Friday, the 13th. So that'll be when we're accepting applications. We will post the public hearings for the applicants in the Gloucester Daily Times no later than September 26th, which allows us 10 days to get to the public hearing dates, which will be Monday, October 7th. And potentially,
It should be the 27th, make the 10 days, not the 26th.
but if you count the days, it doesn't get you to the 7th, it gets you to the 8th. So we have to do by the 26th.
Oh, I mean, it was, I'm sorry.
9/10, yeah,
I
because
was wondering where
because
you're
it's a
getting at.
Monday, so it's.
I understand.
A day
I was missing
earlier.
that. Okay.
Yep, so posted in the Gloucester Daily Times on the 26th for hearing dates on October 7th and October 8th. And I so move if you understood what I said. I'm happy to
I wrote
repeat
down,
it.
I'm good. Second.
Okay, so discussion, so it looks like we make the 10-day notice, when we advertise by this Friday to get the applications in by the September 9th deadline, and then we make the 10-day notice requirement of posting the public hearing to get to October 7th, and then the 8th. I think that covers it all as far as the timeline. Can you just read that back to me so that I know you know it?
So I didn't write exactly what we said down, but I
Okay.
have what we planned.
Okay.
So the ad will go into the Gloucester Daily Times on August 23rd. And the hours of that the public can drop off an application will be from September 9th to September 13th. Monday during clerk public hours, Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 10:30, and Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 10:30, Monday through Thursday,
2:30.
2:30.
8:30 to 3:30.
Okay,
Well, no, that's not right, but it's both that hours. And then the public hearing is on 10/7. October 8th would be the discussions,
so I think it would be helpful
decisions, I mean.
if we say public hearings could be October 7th and 8th, potentially 8th, but that the decision will be the 8th. just in case we have to carry over the public
Yeah.
hearings. So that's correct, that process, and make sure that you put during, if yes, your during clerk hours, put that in the ad, so that we're specifically saying that you have specific hours, because we've
Right.
had that in the
It's
past.
also posted on your section on the city's website.
Okay,
All right.
helpful,
I made sure that was posted when we made that decision.
okay,
Right. And then the individual ads will be 9:26.
yes,
I think I might have not said that.
yes, awesome. I think you did say it.
Okay.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that vote carries. All right, Suzanne, anything else? Suzanne's still
Nope,
there?
I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Very helpful during this process.
Oh, good. I'm glad to be of help.
Okay, so no one has appeared for extension of entertainment, so we will table that matter until our next meeting, which is our regularly scheduled meeting in September, which is September 10th. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, the vote carries. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us tonight.
From,
You know,
I
Kim,
do have a question, just, if I've had
can I shut this?
Hold on.
oh, yeah.